Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 2019 Brain Health Online Summit. I am Amy Zellmer from Faces of TBI, and myself, along with Dr. Jeremy Schmo from Midwest Functional Neurology Center, we saw a need in the brain injury community for more training and education on alternative healthcare methods and modalities for those struggling from the lingering effects of a brain injury. So each week during the summit, you will be hearing from a presenter who will share either their real life experience living with a brain injury or their experience working with a brain injury patient. And today I am here with Mike Harris. And Mike was born and raised in California, brought up by a single mother. And his entire life he had been involved in competitive sports. And his mom made sure that he would become an athlete and have a chance to become pro. So all year he would participate in sports teams while his mother went back to school for her master's degree in education. He fell in love with the game of football at the age of 10, and in 2007 he received a scholarship to UCLA where he majored in history and won the award for Most Improved Player 2 years in a row. In 2012, he was signed on to the San Diego Chargers and started as an undrafted rookie. In 2014, he joined the Minnesota Vikings, yay Vikings, and started every game during the 2015 season where they won the NFC North Championship. The following spring in 2016, after practice, he experienced an AVM, and from there his life was changed forever. Mayo Clinic treated his illness, and in 2017, he had a gamma knife procedure that restored the affected blood vessels in his brain. Now that he's retired, he appreciates family, friendship, and impacting the community, and is an assistant head coach at Hopkins High School. So welcome to the summit, Mike. I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to sharing my story, and you're doing an amazing job with the Brain Summit.
Thank you. And I'm really excited to hear you share your story today. I heard just a very brief version of it at the Not Invisible event. And it's really inspiring, and you are really changing lives by sharing your story. It's important information to get out there because, as we know, a brain injury can happen to anyone, any age, anytime, anywhere, right? Like it does not discriminate. So I think I would love just to have you just kind of jump in and share a little bit of your background and your story, and we can kind of go from there, Mike.
Yeah, like you said, I've been involved in sports my whole life. Never had a brain injury, never even had a concussion until my AVM. So, playing offensive line, being in those tough battles, not knowing, when my career would end, but it all came to an end one day after practice, and from there my life had changed. So an AVM, at first I thought it was concussion symptoms, but as I went to Mayo Clinic, I did a few tests that showed I had a blood vessel that hemorrhaged and that caused symptoms of blurry vision, headaches, stroke symptoms. It was just a terrible time in my life, but I've grown from it. I'm using, my experience to impact lives, and I enjoy sharing my story with people that may not know what an AVM is or may not even know that there are other brain injuries other than concussions. So, the NFL is known for concussions, not really for, AVMs, but I've been able to heal from it. Like I said, I went to Mayo Clinic and they did the gamma ray knife procedure that went in with a laser beam, and it cauterized the blood vessels that were affected during my AVM, and now I'm doing much better. I'm just excited though for what's in front of me. Like I said, my football career is over, but I have a whole life to live, and it could have been a lot worse.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How old were you, Mike, when you had your AVM?
It was back in 2016, so I was 28 years old. It was right after football practice. I just got home. I was experiencing headaches. And then I just remember everything just went boom. It was like a bomb went off in my brain. And I remember not even being able to look at the TV screen or my phone. And I had never been so scared in my whole life. My eyes lit up like just seen a ghost.
Mhm.
I went in to the training staff. They thought it was concussion symptoms, and it finally took us driving to Rochester to see that a blood vessel had burst in my brain. And it's just the uncertainty of my future was just out now. I thought I would be able to play football forever, and that event in my life changed everything. So I'm
Mhm.
appreciative for being alive. I'm happy that I can stand here today because it could have been a lot worse, and I could have died, honestly.
Can you explain what an AVM is? Is it a genetic condition, or can it happen to anyone?
Yeah, it happens to about 1% of the population in the world. Um, they say genetic, but for the most part, it's unknown why it happens. It's stroke symptoms pretty much, but I didn't experience, like the weak limbs, or the only thing it really affected was my vision.
Mhm.
And where my AVM is in my brain, if you would look at an MRI, it's right in the center. So they couldn't have done an operation. It took the gamma ray knife, the radiology department to go in there and zap it out. And the procedure only took 20 minutes, but
Wow.
I was there all day, and I actually have a picture. Well, if you can see it, they
Yeah.
had me in like a head frame.
Yeah, like to hold you
hmm
still.
Hold me still so they can get that precise accuracy.
Were you
Went in.
awake?
Oh yeah, I was awake.
Wow.
hmm
That's kind of freaky, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was painful. They literally had a
Oh,
screw in my head. I still have scars, but the great staff at Mayo Clinic did a wonderful job. Um, I would say that was the most anxious and nervous I was in my whole life, but I
I'd
got through
imagine.
it, and I'm doing the best ever today. I walked away from it feeling much better about myself, and not fearing, if it would ever happen again, because it's less than about 3% chance that it would happen. So I'm really optimistic on life, and even though football's over, I know I have a lot to give, and working with kids and coaching has just been so rewarding, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So was your surgery, was it like immediate? Did they do it right away when you saw the imaging, or was it later? I assume it was pretty life threatening.
Yeah, they I think it was about a year after the actual event, because they thought it would heal on its own. And in that time, I was in limbo because I was thinking I would be able to go back and play, it would heal. And then it took an angiogram where they pumped dye into the blood vessels to see the actual, the hemorrhage, the malfunction, as they say.
Hmm.
And then from there, they said, it wouldn't be a good idea to go back and play. It's just the spot of where the AVM is so like critical that
Yeah.
you know going back on the field would just not be a smart idea. So in that time, that year, I was just, like I said, sitting in limbo, not knowing if I'd play again, what do I do if I retire. But once I had the procedure done, you know it was painless. um the only thing, I was left with the scar, but I'm happy it was all over with. And my AVM, if you look at an MRI today, after about 2 years, it's completely, or almost completely gone, and the blood vessels are healthy and strong. hmm
Um, Now, Mike, I know you said that you've done a lot of natural healing
hmm
to get to this point. Tell us some of the things that you have done to help with your healing.
Oh yeah, I've done a lot. I've really just, in this free time, you know, retiring from football, it's given me time to really rethink my life. And I've started seeing nutrition practitioners. I've been taking the right supplements. I've been just being in a good mind state of just meditation, reading. I'll do a lot of self-help books. Um, just anything that I put in my body, it's gonna benefit my brain. You know, eliminating alcohol, eliminating anything that's gonna, have harm on me or prevent my healing. I just eliminated it, and I go to different doctors now for everything. If it's for supplements, I take about 10 pills a day just to just so my immune system, all my
Mm-hmm.
systems are working well, and that's just a part of my life now. I want to live for a very long time after I'm almost facing death. I've put my health first, and that's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm.
Is living a happy, healthy life, and just eliminating those harmful substances and food that can lead to high blood pressure and just you know things that cause strokes as well.
That's kind of been a really big theme throughout the summit is, you know, nutrition and diet and what we put in our bodies, and the environment around our bodies, all the toxins that we might use in our homes.
Mm.
I know I've really, really tried eliminating like I've tried going all natural with like my cleaners and anything I use in my home. Talking about alcohol, I don't think that's talked about enough in the brain injury world. I continued to drink the first year
Hmm.
after my injury, and then someone kind of basically explained alcohol is a neurotoxin. And I
Right.
was like, well, duh.
Hmm.
Why do I keep putting that in my
Hmm.
body? Um, and I noticed even if I have one drink, I totally feel really sluggish and foggy the next day. And I don't think that that's talked about enough in the brain injury community. So I'm glad you brought that up. And just, supplementing, I'm trying to think of how many pills I take. I don't think I take 10. Maybe I do.
Yeah.
Jeremy has me on a lot of supplements, but I
Hmm.
feel so good. And my blood work came back, I think it was last year, the first time in like 10 years. My cholesterol, my blood sugar, like everything was in the totally normal range. So I think that says a lot to what supplements can do to us.
Right. Just making good habits and just having a life that's just positive. Honestly, getting out of your head, volunteering, helping others. I've learned, a lot of just gratitude. People still look up to me,
Mhm.
even though I'm not playing anymore. People recognize me, and you know, especially these kids, they still see me as a role model and as a
Yeah.
mentor, and that's honestly been healing as well. Is getting out of my head, because for a while after my injury, I was just isolated, feeling sorry for myself, depressed, all that, and that didn't help with healing. It finally took me getting out of my shell and building relationships and talking about my illness with people, because for a while I was ashamed that it had happened to me, and just being vulnerable is really what helped me, and sharing my story, and just seeing who I can impact. And I feel like I'm the healthiest, not only physically healthy, but mentally healthy, right this time in my life.
Hmm. And I think you really hit that, getting out of your own head and literally and figuratively, right?
Hmm.
um, we can get in our own way, you know? If we keep saying this sucks, why did this happen to me? This sucks. You're never going to move forward if you're stuck in that phase.
Yeah.
Um, you mentioned you did do some therapy. Um, and I want to kind of touch on that because I think that's important. I feel a lot of people have a negative connotation to therapy. And I had never been to a therapist in my life until after my injury. And I was having a lot of PTSD. And I had no idea that that's what was happening
Hmm.
until my doctor referred me to a therapist. And it was pretty life-changing to have someone to talk to who was non-judgmental. They listened, they believed me. So would you mind sharing a little bit of your experience?
Yeah, like you said, I had plenty of PTSD as well. Um, it finally took my mother, who lives in California, who's 1,000 miles away, for
Yeah,
her to come here and just see the way I was living, staying up late, not wanting to leave my house, where she just found this perfect man for me to talk to. And by me sharing, how I was feeling, there's sessions where I was crying, and just having someone with an open ear to just hear me out. Because once I had to retire due to my injury, I didn't really have anyone to talk to. And there were days where I didn't want to talk to anybody, but it took courage, and it took just inner strength for me to just say, hey, if I don't do something about it, it's gonna consume me, and it's only gonna lead to something worse happening to me. And you see it all the time. People, suicidal,
mhm,
all sorts of bad stuff that happen to people, because it's a mental. It wasn't only a physical injury; it was a mental thing as
yeah,
well. And by me going to therapy and seeing a psychiatrist, I was able to just heal. That's honestly what helped me heal physically, is letting 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 myself be vulnerable to someone that that cared about me and just wanted me to just feel better, honestly, because life's too short. I knew surviving that AVM, it was a wake up call for me, honestly. Before then,
yeah,
I honestly thought I was invincible. Everything was going well for me in the NFL, making a lot of money, not living in a fantasy world. And it took something so drastic
yeah,
and serious to just wake me up. And I feel like being able to share that with someone, and at a consistent rate as well, not just one time. I know people will go once, but doing it once a
right,
week, and then as time went by, life just became so much better. I was able to share with other people, because you know I'm still recognizable here, and people didn't really know what happened to me.
yeah.
But by me sharing with them, and then they understand, oh, that you got an AVM, you got a brain injury, and they can, just show love out there. There's not enough in the world, and I knew, that's my purpose in life. I love, working with kids, people that are, that have their own issues, but they still see me as a strong,
Mhm.
confident person, and they just gravitate to my likeness, and I just want to continue to make an impact. And
Yeah, at our
yeah.
Not Invisible event, I was so happy you got to meet that little guy. He had an AVM. I believe when he
Hmm.
was 9, they had it removed preventatively. I hadn't burst yet, but I just thought that was so cool that he got to meet you. Here's this larger than life football player guy, and he had an AVM too. So you definitely are making
Yeah.
an impact.
Yeah, like doing events like that, and public speaking, and just trying to be an inspiration to just people, seeing a big, 306'5" man, and having, an injury like that, something so
Hmm.
small that it just changed me and rocked my world. But by me having resiliency and battling through those dark times and all the depression, I was able to come out on top. I feel like, even though I'm not doing what I love, and I'll always miss playing football, I feel like my purpose in this world is so much greater than, a game.
You talked about isolation, and I think that that is one of the most recurring themes I hear of the brain injury community. People feel very isolated and alone. And for you, you moved here to Minnesota for football, and
Hmm.
you were surrounded by your teammates, and then now all of a sudden you're not playing anymore. And I can see where that's just incredibly isolating, and the depression starts to set in. And like I said, I just find that to be such a recurring theme, and it's so important to be able to dig yourself up out of that. It doesn't happen right away. I know for me it took about
Hmm.
a year, but it's critical that you go through those stages, right? Like,
It
it's
is
not like the
super
stages of
critical.
grief. You kind of have to
hmm
grieve who you were almost.
hmm Oh yeah, I remember those nights of crying and just feeling alone. But it finally took, like you said, over a year for me, and just realizing that I have people that care about me and I have resources. Being in the NFL, I'm in that fraternity, and there's former players that had to retire from injuries that need help as well, and it's hard transitioning out of something you've been doing your whole life. But like I said, I just jumped on the horns. It finally took me just reaching out, finding mentors, which are huge, which have been huge in my life. You know, sharing my story with them, and there's just been different programs offered by the NFL that is, I've been through a couple of classes where they actually taught me how to, transition into business, or to, just deal, with self-awareness and all that, just good stuff that I can take back. And now I want to teach the younger adults that may not know what they want to do, or are feeling down, because they can all learn from my story. They can learn from other guys' stories, because life is hard, and it's just a matter of just getting out of that bed every day and deciding how are you going to live, who are you going to impact, you know what am I going to bring to the table. And I'm still figuring that out to this day, but I know I'm on the right track with just my mindset and having that growth mindset instead of that fixed mindset where I'm like, oh, now that I have this injury, I'm gonna be dumb and stupid. I
Right.
can't get a real job because it affected me cognitively, and I can't read and write. What skills do I have? So I'm just been taking this as a challenge and as an opportunity to just find my purpose and just re-educate myself. And it's been really fun. I've been able to read a lot of books. I've been able to just you know pursue knowledge is one thing.
Mhm.
I've every day I'm reading about brain injuries. I'm reading about the brain. I want the prefrontal cortex, different parts that make me think and act the way I do. And it's just been fascinating to learn about myself and about the brain, which I injured.
Mhm. The brain is really fascinating.
It
Like,
is.
it's kind of is amazing how, like, you really don't think about it, like how your brain runs your whole entire body until you break it. And then
Right.
it's like you're obsessed with it.
I haven't been obsessed. I've been buying magazines and just anything I can find online. And I think it's pretty amazing. Just the anatomy of it. It's it's more it's like more advanced than a computer.
Yeah,
You look
well,
at it,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and the neuroplasticity and how we're able to retrain the brain. I mean, it's pretty remarkable.
Right. That's what I'm on right now, is just retraining myself. And what's been fun is just learning new things. Retraining my brain to learn and to accept that, yeah, I'm in this state now, but I can grow, I can become better. I don't have to stay in this same hole I'm in, and I can, the sky's the limit. That's all I say. If I want to go back to school, I think I'm totally capable of doing it. It's just
Mhm.
setting my mind to it.
So, Mike, I know this past year you had the opportunity to visit Midwest Functional Neurology Center, and I believe you worked with Dr. Eric. Um,
hmm
so, tell us a little bit about your experience at MFNC, and what some of the symptoms you went in there with, hoping to resolve, and what became of that.
Well, yeah, the symptoms I wanted to resolve, I was experiencing double vision, where one eye would see clear, my other eye it would be like a ghost image wherever I
Mhm.
went. So you would catch me with one eye closed, and
The
I just
Popeye
thought,
look.
yeah, the Popeye look, and I already don't have good vision, so it was just all bad. So, Dr. Eric, we were able to go in there. It was like a workout. It was a week-long training session for my vision, for just re-coordinating everything. we started off by doing different like cognitive or number matching. I got into like a NASA machine, which allowed me to shoot a laser
The gyro
and the
stim.
gyro stem. And
It is a NASA machine.
I just feel from doing that week long training allowed me to it just fixed me, honestly. I thought forever I was gonna be having double vision and having, just having those symptoms, which aren't fun.
Mm-mm.
It's not cool when especially when you're trying to drive somewhere, or you're just trying to just live a normal
Uh-huh.
life when you can't even, and I'm 30 years old now, and it's something I had to think about the rest of my life. So I was recommended by a friend that works at a cryotherapy place. He actually works at natural healing as well, and he told me about MFNC, and he said if you go there, like it will be life changing. And I took a big risk. I didn't know what to expect. Like I said, I went to Mayo Clinic, so I was done with hospitals and
Right.
being treated, and I was just over it. But it's I was one of the best decisions I think I made in my whole life, because I was allowed to see the light and know that I can heal from it. And me and Dr. Eric, we went in. Day one, I told him my symptoms. I told him that I wanted to get better, and he was honest with me. He said, "You're gonna get better." And from there, I was just excited and happy to know that this isn't gonna last forever. So
Mm-hmm.
just thinking back, it's been we did that last summer. We started off. Um, yeah, we just started off with just recalibrating my balance. We what else did we do? We did a lot of sight training.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to stare at a dot, and turning my head left and right, up and down, and we try to get it where I was seeing two dots instead of one. It's supposed to be one, but when I
Yeah.
turn left, I see two, because my left eye is making a ghost image. So we corrected that in 1 week, which I was amazed by. And it was a great program. He even sent me home with practices that I do, in my basement, and it's a part of my routine. It's like going to the gym. I got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's beneficial to me, and I thank Dr. Eric for just making it a great experience for me. I went in there really anxious and nervous,
Yeah.
and just thinking, oh, there's no way I'm gonna heal. There's no way. But he just really was uplifting, and just a friendly guy to be around, and it was a enjoyable experience. And I'll forever thank him and Dr. Jeremy for what they do.
Yeah. I remember I was very skeptical. I was similar to you. I was two
Hmm.
and a half years out. I was done with doctors. No one had been able to help me. I was over it. And then I stumbled upon Jeremy. He's like, I think I can help you. I know I can help you. And I was like, whatever. And finally, I bit the bullet and went. And I mean, within 3 days, they got my vision and my balance under control. And I mean, I wasn't 100% healed in that week, but I had made enough progress that I knew I could continue making progress. And then, you talk about those exercises, do them at home. I still do them to this
Hmm.
day. And over time, I still see more and more improvements. So the brain really is remarkable at its ability to heal itself,
Yeah.
which you're a living example of, right?
I'm a living example. Just doing that, building good habits, you know, knowing what I put in my body is gonna affect, my brain more than anything. So I'm constantly researching and finding different foods, different, supplements, minerals, vitamins that I can take to improve all that. And it's just been a remarkable journey after, going to MFNC, and just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, that I'm gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be able to live a happy and healthy life for a long time.
hmm and you keep using the word resiliency.
Hmm.
And I really love that word because resiliency means, the ability to make the best of what you have now. and where rehabilitation means you're going to get back to exactly what you were, right? So like if you have a knee injury, you can rehab that knee and get the knee back to where it was. A brain injury, there's a good likelihood you'll never be exactly what you were, and that resiliency, the ability to just make the best of what you're given and make a new beginning. And, I think that's exactly what we're both doing. And it's really cool where the journey takes you if you allow it.
Exactly. It is really cool. So many doors have been opened up to me this past year, more than when I was playing, because my mind was just so focused on one thing, myself, my football career. But now that I've, been through those hardships, I've been, been able to just open up to people. And it's just been so rewarding because they all want to hear my story, not only my football story, but just how I survived all that. Because there's some people that couldn't have, gone through what I did. They would have just shut it down and just given up. But it took me, just getting out of bed and just realizing that I don't want to live this way anymore. And that, there are people that care about me. My mom, she raised me on her own. She's the one that's been with me this whole time. During my injury, she flew from California to take me to Mayo Clinic, and I just didn't want to let her down by giving up. What football and sports has taught me, that you got to be resilient. You have to have the grit, the strength to get back up, because that's what winners do. And I'm gonna win at life. That giving up has never been, a motto of mine or something I want to be a part of. So, but it was hard because, like I said, I'm used to being on a team and having people around me. But in those times where you're alone in your head, you gotta just make up your mind that you're gonna change your mindset. That fixed mindset's what drives people crazy. Having that growth mindset of just, yeah, it's tough now, but if I think in a positive way, there's so much good that's going to come out of it. And there's, being around people, positive people as well, has helped me a lot. So just being resilient, just honestly, it's a natural thing for me, because just being an athlete, you have to be resilient. I wouldn't have made it to the NFL if I wasn't. So it's just something I had to re-tap myself into, because, with my injury, I kind of felt defeated for a long time. And I had to retrain myself to think like a winner, to think like someone that is not gonna quit on themselves because there's people counting on me. I always just thought about the people I can, impact, and the people like my mom and my family and friends that are counting on me. And it's been a crazy ride, but I can honestly say that I'm on the other side of it. My life hasn't been so exciting till now. I'm working with kids. I'm still involved with the Minnesota Vikings, which is great. They want me to do events. I'm trying to improve, my public speaking. I want to touch as many people as I can by sharing my story, and they're gonna listen. I feel like I have that demeanor, that energy, that light, and it's just really just finding, looking in myself and having that confidence that's there. But I have to find it sometimes, and just believing in myself is just it's a great feeling. I'm really happy.
You went from performing in front of how many people fit in a stadium? Like 50,000?
50,000.
Well, I know that you're making an impact. I heard just amazing feedback just from your short talk at the Not Invisible event. So you're definitely making an impact. And I love following you on Instagram and all the cool things you're doing. It's not the number of times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up. Right?
Exactly.
So you are doing really cool things.
Yeah, and that's what I do. I'm trying to still use my platform to to reach people, and I still have my fan base, and it's just exciting for people to catch up on me and they're always going to know that I play football. And they're always going to know that I'm a good person. I just want to continue to just reach out. You know, Instagram is something I love because it's short and sweet. A picture here. I'm not the type to like post selfies or anything. I love when I'm at events. I'm with with kids or whatever. I
Yeah.
just want to be seen. Working with them, whether it's with special needs as well. I'm doing work with the Children's Hospital, at Shriners as well, and I just want to just be their friend. Honestly, I see myself as like a big teddy bear. I might have this
Yeah.
big demeanor, but I'm probably the softest guy you would ever meet. Like it's just the way I was raised too. I've always been really friendly, and I've always just loved people, and it's just something I'm gonna continue to do. It's it's pretty fun, and just I'm here in Minnesota. It's a great place to live, honestly, because there's so many outlets to look into.
Absolutely. Even
Um,
though it's cold.
it's cold, but when you can find the right, groups to work with, volunteering. Once the lakes aren't frozen anymore, I'm in this group called Let's Go Fishing, where we take out people with special needs out on the fishing boat and just
Oh,
doing
cool.
I love doing that outdoorsy stuff that that lets me get outside and just just have fun. That's I just really love life at this moment. I'm in a great relationship. I have 3 dogs that have a lot of resiliency too. They were adopted. One is in a
Aw.
dog mill. So yeah, I'm just learning every day too. I'm pursuing knowledge and just staying connected.
Dogs are good for healing.
Exactly.
Cats might be too, but I can
hmm
only reference a dog.
Yeah, I
I was
believe that too.
I was just looking for that picture. I'll see if I can. Oh,
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of the glare. But this is you with the
Oh, there
little
it is.
guy at, I think his name was Owen or Wyatt. I can't remember.
Yeah.
At the Not Invisible. You're
hmm
talking about being a big teddy bear. I just remember he had his teddy bear with him
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yep. His classmates had given it to him when he had his surgery.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's That's great that you do though. You meet a lot of people like him. Brain injuries affect all ages. I'm starting to see that.
It's, and until you're affected by it, whether it happens directly to you or to someone you know or love, you really have no idea the consequences and how far reaching it is until it's in your face. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I knew a couple of people who'd had a concussion, but they'd recovered from it.
Mhm.
Um, so I never had any reference point before my injury, and it's really, truly life changing.
It is. Yeah. Like I said, I've
Mhm.
only seen people with concussions, from playing football, and those guys are out back on the field in a week.
Right? For good or bad, right?
Yeah, for good or bad, and but
Yeah.
I really enjoy just connecting with those that have had brain injuries and just being able to be vulnerable with them and hearing their stories because we're all in it together. I see that as a community,
Yep.
and I just seeing meeting that kid, it's like wow, he has so much life to live, and I feel for him, but I just saw the light in him, and I know he's
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
Yep.
So that was heartwarming.
I know. I was so happy because you had to leave early, so I wanted to make sure he
Yeah,
got a chance to say hi to you.
yeah.
So, well, Mike, thank you so much for being a part of the summit and sharing your journey. You're doing amazing things, and the more awareness we can bring, the better. And given that you have a platform, you're going to change a lot of lives. So I thank you for everything that you're doing.
Well, thank you. Like you said, I'm gonna just keep using this platform. It's a responsibility. I feel like just sharing my story and just trying to make an impact and letting people know, that brain injuries are real. That happens to a lot of
Mhm.
people, and we we need help. And I feel like as a community that you created, it's allowed me to meet these people going through these hardships, and whatever I can do to, to help them and just be a friend to them.
Mhm.
Honestly, that's what I've that's what I realized. I don't have to be this football player, this role model, this guy, but I can just giving them kindness, a smile on their face,
Mhm.
and just by them seeing the light in me, by loving, by them seeing that I love myself, and that that my injury didn't define me, didn't defeat me, and just seeing my resiliency, that they can take something from my experience, and it's great.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. And just thank you everyone for watching. I hope that you are all enjoying the 2019 summit, and I will see you all again in the next episode.